August the 4th, 2024. Guys, you're looking at Sky Tower down in Tampa's, their official Tropical Storm Debbie track. This was updated at 5 p.m. Now, I had expected it to change from the 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., but the numbers here did not, and they should have, because this is very misleading. And maybe they will later on, but it's been like this since at least 2 o'clock in the updates that I'm doing. But right here it's saying Monday, 2 a.m., that's tonight after midnight, just offshore. Monday, 2 p.m., right here is a Cat 1. Both of those are very misleading numbers, and it can cause a lot of problems. So let's look at those real numbers for a moment, and just so we can clear that up, then we'll look at a couple of satellite images and some of the other warnings. But right now, saying again, the locations are pretty accurate. Right here, 85 mile per hour Cat 1. Right here, still a Cat 1. And then it cruises right out through here as a tropical storm, and ends up being a low in South Carolina, right on the border with North Carolina. And that would be around Wednesday p.m. But some of the models are showing it strengthening very much when it comes out here. Now let's go to the real numbers, because this can make a difference on your decision whether or not you want to stay. Now put this map together with the information you see on the left, just using Google Maps and the coordinates, and then drawing the lines through here. And you can see if you hover over one, it will light up. This is the one where we're at now. They're saying maximum sustained winds 55 knots, or gust to 65 knots. Getting close to a Cat 1. That's not the important numbers. I think they're a little higher than that. But let's move up this chain. You'll see as you hover over right here. Before it comes ashore, maximum winds. That's sustained 75 knots, with gusts 90 knots. I think somebody's getting their knots and the miles per hour mixed up, because 75 knots is a Category 2, 92 mile per hour storm. The gust at 115 or 90 knots is 115 miles an hour. Those are Cat 3 gusts. And if you move up here, guys, to right there, you see it? The same thing is happening right there. 75 knots, 90 knot winds. Again, Cat 2, Cat 3, all the way up into Tallahassee, guys. So let's move this up a little bit. Here is the Ancilla Wildlife Area. Of course, Tallahassee right here. And Tallahassee, you're going to catch a lot. And if this thing moves over just a little bit, it's going to be rough on you. But it's crossing I-10, guys. Up here, this is, let's see what would be close here. This is Osceola. You've got drifting here. Anyway, right there, it's crossing 10. Crossing the Florida-Georgia line there, coming out. Let me pull this up. Going to come up, and this is where it's supposedly going to take a curve. Come out right here. This is St. Catherine's Island, Harris Neck Wildlife Refuge. Shellman Bluff is here, and Ossabaw Island. And if we go here and look at this information, it's still slowed down, still a tropical storm. But now it headed, the actual numbers have it headed back out into the Atlantic, not staying on shore that long. That could change, because some of the models have it looping around. But it's going to have time to re-strengthen regardless of where it goes. We'll watch that, but the important thing right now, guys, is that you understand from right here to right here, Cat 2. With Cat 3 gust, if it does not strengthen past the computer readouts here. This last stop image right there, it is 5:52 p.m. Central, so it's 6:52 over on the East Coast, guys, nearly 7. Things have been looking like it's trying to wrap up around tonight, but you'll see it start to recycle right here. And the path, from what they're saying on the computer, is going to take it right up here, across the Panhandle, out into Georgia, and back out into the Atlantic. But this could set up to be a record flood and rainfall event before it's over with. Now, if we look at it in infrared, guys, this is trailing. We've seen it before, all the way across Cuba now. It may pick up even more here. But this is, you guys in Florida have been getting it all day, really starting yesterday evening, last night. And this is going to continue. Now, some of this will move offshore, but this We've seen tornadoes pop up through here. And again, they're predicting at the numbers we were seeing a 10-foot storm surge up in this area on top of your tides. You can see right here in the last frame, I'm going to stop it right there, guys. Look how high and dark this center area is where it's trying to form that eye. If I were you, I would prepare for a Cat 3 hurricane simply because of the gust. It's going to approach that anyway. I'm going to play this forward. And in this area, all through here and up coming through Georgia, guys, and the northern panhandle, the rain event may be more destructive than the wind event because they're talking about a lot of rain. Let's take a look at that. Now, if you read in the bottom left, this is starting today. It goes through day 1 through day 5, ends August the 9th on Friday. In the darkest areas, you're talking about 16 to 20 inches. In the red areas, 12 to 16. In the orange, 8 to 12 inches. Outside of that, 6 to 4 and 4 to 6. And outside of that, 1 to 2 inches in this area. And that's going to be determined by how quickly it moves. Remember, a couple of the models were showing it looping around in here. The longer it does, the stops and turns, the more rain that's going to be pulled into your area. And there's plenty of it coming up out of the Caribbean right now. Now, this is the same 5-day period from today on the 4th to August the 9th, this coming Friday. The pink area is a 70% chance of flash flood risk over the next 5 days. 70% chance. Outside of that is 40%. In the yellow, you got 15. In the green, it is at least 5% through this area. But right here, coming up, right in the path of the storm, around it. You're talking about from Jacksonville, Savannah, and Charleston. And again, just depends on how long this thing sits here. Now, here's our peak storm surge forecast. Not much has changed this morning, even though some of the wind speed numbers have. A little bit from the Suwannee River to Yankeetown up to a 9-foot surge, still 6 to 10 from the Suwannee River up to this point, and then from there to Indian Pass, 4 to 6, 1 to 2 to Mexico Beach, 5 to 8 from Yankeetown down in this area. Then it starts dropping 3 to 5, 2 to 4, 1 to 3 in the blue. But you do have a 2 to 4 foot storm surge watch in this area, because when it comes off, it's going to be throwing a lot of pressure back against the land because it's going to be spinning counterclockwise. So all of this, you've got flash flood watches, high rain numbers, and peak storm surge. Again, that does not count the waves. It does not count the tide situation. Now, let's look back at the Fox map just a moment. Just change this to a 2 and this to a 2 with Cat 3 gust. But notice the time from 2 a.m. to 2 p.m. tomorrow. In other words, from in the morning after midnight to 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon Eastern time. That happens to be during a high tide, this 2 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow afternoon. So as the storm's here, it's still going to be pulling that big tail behind it that we're seeing in the satellite images. And you're going to be at high tide right there. And we'll look at one kind of in the middle of that track or right on the edge of it. And it's at the Suwannee River tide chart gauge. Let's check it out. Now, this is the tide chart today from the Suwannee River entrance. And you can go and you can use your smartphone and I guess your computer to tides for fishing app right there. And anyway, notice right here, tomorrow's a high tide at 2:17 p.m. just as the high. And I'm going to leave you with this radar, guys. Here is Perry, Florida, Tallahassee, Bainbridge, going up, and here's Waycross, Georgia, Albany. And you can see where the county line is here. Gainesville, you're just in between a couple of lines. You notice there's been some warnings pop up right there. Tornadoes in this section just a few minutes ago. This is all moving counterclockwise. So again, we've seen those tornadoes all day. They haven't stopped yet. They are diminishing. Maybe it's getting cooler with the sunset and some of the cloud cover, but it's not over with. And it's going to go on through tonight and most of the day tomorrow. We're watching it, guys. If I see an important update in the speed other than what I've showed you, I will come on, or major change in the path. We're watching it. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.